Hi everybody, I am back with another eBay SuperSize sales of $100 or more. The sales in this video come from my Facebook group where we have a dedicated thread for sellers to post their $100 SuperSize sales. Sellers will post what they found, where they found it, how much they paid for it, how much it sold for, and any other interesting backstories, which I think are the best part of hearing about other sellers' items because you can learn from what they are doing. So we are going to start off with Kendra Kofran. I hope I said that right. If I didn't, Kendra, correct me. She says, my best eBay sale to date, found at a charity thrift store for $14. They were Ralph Lauren, Purple Label, and 50th anniversary on the tag. Did some research and found a photo with a model on the runway wearing them. Also learned all the patches were hand sewn. Took about 3 months to sell. Listed at $750, took an offer for $500. And this is one of those things where when you see it, it's like the weirder the better. Unique, unusual items can sell for a lot of money. And here is the perfect example. She paid $14, they sold for $500. Okay, next up is Beverly Butera. This is another pair of boots. I think she had some in the previous video. Oh, she said that. Second pair of boots from a boot lot estate purchase. I paid $175 for the whole lot. So I am at $295, meaning sales, and have 5 pair left. Thank you, Lord. It has been so slow. Grateful for these sales. So this is Corral Vintage women's Western boots. Look at the detail on those boots. They are just very cool looking. And they sold for $130. Next we have Emily Smith. And she says, I've only had a handful of sales over $100, and here's another. My dad found this in my aunt's trash when she was moving. Found a sold comp for another of $265 plus shipping. I listed mine for $245 and had several offers ranging from $40 to $180. It hit over 300 views in a month or so, so I decided to start over as an auction. Started at $155 and it was bid up to my reserve of $180 by the same person. Happy that it's all profit. Next time I'll take the $180 offer the first time. This is a vintage Abingdon TP pottery cookie jar with lid. So it was free and she sold it for $180. Okay, next up is Andrew McGee. Picked these bad boys up for $5 at a yard sale. Sold within 3 hours for full asking price. Chippewa steel toe logger boots. Men's 9.5 or 9.5 size. Insulated. So $5 and they sold for $225. Now we have Nikki Tanner, paid $20 at Goodwill, took best offer of $190 a few hours after listing. Found in one of the locked glass cases. This is Laser Light, Laser QuickTime Kit, Trigger, Target Training. So it's like a laser gun. $20, took an offer of $190. Don't assume all those things in the locked cases, the glass cases, are too expensive because you pay up a little bit for an item, she flipped it for almost 10 times what she paid for it. So that's a good investment. Okay, here is the perfect eBay story. Beth Ann in Alaska. She says, I know zip about comic books. Our thrift store had a small stack of them for 75 cents each, so I bought all 30 on a hunch. Turns out that only 2 are worth more than $2 to $5, and this is the first one I listed. I called to get a quote for grading it, and it was over $50, plus our lovely Alaska shipping fees. So I just disclosed as much as I could in the listing instead. This is a DC Comics Superman and Green Lantern comic book, 1980, and she sold it for $170.50. So many great teaching points in this sale. First of all, she went with her gut. When you have a hunch or just an intuitive feeling, go with that because it's usually right. And this is something she didn't know anything about. She is in Alaska, so her outbound shipping is going to be higher than those of us in the States. And she didn't mention this, but I'm wondering if she lives in a more rural area in Alaska because a lot of Alaska is rural. So she overcame a lot of things for this sale to happen, and it worked. So what a great example. 75 cents, and it sold for $170.50. Okay, next up is Bevan. Free to Me sold for $179.99. Took 4 months. Sold the most expensive part of my hubby's Dungeon and Dragons books from the 80s. All in, probably about 10 books sold. Started price at $189, at one point dropped to $169, but when I saw a bunch of watchers, I jumped it up and it sold. I put the item description into the picture. So this is a 1980s Dungeon and Dragons book. It was her husband's, so it was free. Sold for $179.99. Lots of 80s stuff in this video. Okay, next up is Mayra, who is a frequent poster. Paid $1 at a moving sale. Took 2 months to sell. Listed at $270 and accepted an offer of $235. And this is a beautiful vintage 14-karat gold bangle bracelet. $1 sold for $235. And now we've got Leslie. Paid 50 cents and sold in about a month for full asking price to the United Kingdom. This is also a book. The title is The Mime Order, and it sold for $100, 50-cent investment. This just makes you want to look at every single thing out there because all these things are valuable. Okay, now we've got Ken Bryant. Goodwill purchase in the t-shirt rack for $2.99. I auctioned it twice because the original buyer did not pay. This is a vintage 1998 Ramstein Senshut t-shirt. $200. Another example of Goodwill cannot know everything. Thrift stores cannot catch everything. They just don't have enough knowledgeable people to do it. And they just have too much merchandise. So things are always going to slip through. And I hear this all the time, like, my thrift store, things are too expensive. Well, I mean, it depends on where you live. But too expensive is relative to what you're going to sell it for. If you're going to sell it for $200, then $20 is not too expensive. So you just have to get out of that mindset of wanting to pay $1 for everything, because sometimes you just have to pay up for the higher profit items. Okay, Andrew McGee picked this up at a yard sale for $15, sold in a day for $110 shipped. I always do well with Harley. This is Harley Davidson rain suit, men's extra large. $15 sold for $110. That is good picking. Brandy Cromwell. And she says, hello, this is my first time posting something. Well, congratulations, Brandy. Welcome to the $100 Club. I bought these at a yard sale for $20 and sold them for $375 in about 2 weeks and received positive feedback. This is some of that beautiful vintage Pyrex Amish butter print. And it looks like it's 2 bowls. Yeah, 2 pieces. So $20, sold for $375, and it's her first sale over 100. So keep going, keep trying. If you haven't had one yet, you will get there. You just have to keep plugging away. Those sales will come. Now I've got Brandy again. Oh, 2 items. Found this at an estate sale, paid for $3, made $100. Okay, let me say that again. Found this at an estate sale, paid $3 for it, made $100. Not delivered yet. It's going to Russia. Took about 3 days. This is a Dimensions cross stitch kit. $100. Don't you just love that? And yet we have Brandy again. She says, boyfriend found this in the attic from the old homeowner, so got it for free. Sold for $200 and is going to France and has not been delivered yet. Split the money with the boyfriend. This is an Atari bundle with games, tape player, and it's vintage, and it's sold for $200. So free and sold for $200. There's a comment here from Diane, says, just wondering if you should say you paid $200,000 for it since you had to buy the entire house to get it. Ha ha, good one. No, this would be like a bonus gift. Okay, moving on to Allison Haveman. She says, this is a vintage pair of AO American Optical Pilot Aviator General sunglasses. These belong to my dad, so they were free to me. He is retired Army, and I remember him wearing these when I was a little girl. I cleaned them up and decided to list them since I knew I would never wear them. I had a lot of interest in these sunglasses with a lot of lowball offers and non-payers. The buyer purchased these for $110 plus shipping on a best offer I sent to him. They took about 5 to 6 months to sell. So there you have it. Vintage American Optical Aviator Military sunglasses that were free to her. All right, now we have Roberta Calhoun giving us a BOLO, which is Be on the Lookout. She says, where I found the item? In my home. How much I paid for it? $27.94. How much it sold for? $200 plus shipping. How long it took to sell? 3.5 months. I love how succinct she is with the information. That's great. And the backstory. My late husband purchased this online in 2015. It has been stored since it was purchased on the top shelf in my closet. I decided to look it up to see if it had any value. I was pleasantly surprised. Much of the value is due to it being new and having the original dust bag. However, used ones have sold for an average of $49. So keep an eye out for Liberty when sourcing Plush. He conveniently has his name right on his saddle. So the item is New Adventures of Rush Revere Liberty Horse with dust bag. 12 to 15 inches long. So it's not a huge, gigantic one like the giant Lion King everybody's looking for that sells for $500. That's totally on my list. This one is smaller, and this sold for $200. So take a look at this photo. It has Liberty on the saddle, so that makes it pretty easily recognizable when you're digging through those bins of plush, which I have started doing and am quite enjoying. I just think it's fun. Okay, now we've got KC. $25 at the thrift store, sold for $400 in 1 week. This is an antique black Ansonia clock, enameled cast iron with gargoyles. $400. Look at that. What a beauty. I might have to keep something like that. Okay, we've got KC again. $10 at a garage sale, sold for $213.50 on 5-day auction. This is a Scotty Cameron golf putter. $10, sold for $213.50. Okay, moving right along. Now we've got Cindy Poulin. This is a Cole Haan bag, paid $3 at a small, new, local thrift store, sold for $119 in 12 hours at full price. Best offer was available. Just because you put best offer on items does not mean they won't sell for full price. Next up is Candice Tangway, who is in Canada. She said, I sold this on June 27th, but did not want to post it until it had been delivered to the buyer. The buyer has received the item and left wonderful feedback. I bought this Twinkle bear at an auction along with 7 other plush for $18 Canadian. The only reason why I bid on the box was for 2 Care Bears in the box. This bear, I could only see 1/3 of it in the picture and was not sure if this was a Care Bear as well. I had a nice surprise when I researched Twinkle bears. This is the highest plush I have ever sold, and it sold in 3 days. I listed it for $220 and accepted an offer of $180. So this is vintage Twinkle bear plush from 1995. And it lights up and it works. So what a nice surprise. So she bought a whole box, 8 plush for $18. So about $2 a piece, a little bit less than $2 a piece, and it sold for $180. We're seeing a lot of plush in this video, which, by the way, that will be an upcoming course in the Premium Library. That's the next thing I'm going to work on. I still have a few more segments for the bra course, and that one will be complete. So I try to do a few courses every year. We've got the eyeglasses course, I've got a knife course, clothing courses. I'll just never run out of material to talk about because new things become popular every year, and there's just all these different niches that you can sell in. Okay, now we've got KC. $10 at the thrift store, sold for $200 in less than 24 hours. This is a Nintendo 3DS console. And there's some commentary here. Melissa said, dang, my daughter just rolled her eyes at me when I told her what these are going for. Apparently, she thinks she needs to keep hers. And then Teg says to KC, I had no idea. Thanks for posting this. And then Holly says, congrats, great sale. I just found 2 and am anxious to get them listed. So if you didn't look at this, take a look at it. Nintendo 3DS. He paid $10, sold it for $199.95 in less than 24 hours. Love those fast sales. Okay, now we've got Eileen, who I call the book lady, but this is not a book. Just giving you a hard time, Eileen. She says, I picked this item up at a yard sale for $12. It seems to be a branded limited edition high-end carrying case for yachting that holds champagne flutes and champagne. There were other cases with this brand name on Terapeak, but nothing exactly like it. I priced it high at $499 and accepted a best offer of $300. It took about 3 months to sell. So $12 turned into $300. But, I mean, this is kind of like a non-essential item that people have money lying around to buy a champagne holder. Looks like what this is for a yacht. Makes me think of Robin Leach from Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous and all of the unnecessary stuff on those yachts. Just, excess. But, this is why we love eBay, because it's just surprises all the time. And there are people out there with money to spend on stuff like this. Now we have J.J. O'Neill, purchased from Goodwill for $6.99, posted on July 11th, took best offer of $124 on the 15th. This is Love Comes Softly, 10th anniversary DVD set, new and sealed. And you can see, it looks like that's a young Katherine Heigl on the top right. I didn't look that up. I'm just guessing. It looks like her. So don't overlook those DVD sets. I think people are wanting to collect them because even though we have all this streaming, there's still certain shows that aren't on. So I'm getting to be like that, where I have a collection of DVDs that I keep adding to when I see things, because I'd rather pay $2 at Goodwill and have the DVD forever than pay to watch it on streaming, $3 or $4, and you only get to watch it once. So that's just where I'm at. These streaming services have figured out that people will pay for movies to watch them one time. And I mean, that is such an easy income stream for them. It's very scalable, but the stuff I like to watch, I just refuse to pay extra. So if I buy a DVD, at some point I can sell my whole collection and come out ahead on that deal. Okay, let's see who we have next. Andrew McGee is back. He says, picked this up for $2 at a garage sale, sold for full asking price in about 2 weeks. Castlevania Chronicles PlayStation game. $2, sold for $200. I really admire you folks out there that sell video games. That is a niche I just don't know. I know what my kids played back in the late 90s, 2000s, but I wasn't a video game player, so I don't know what all these things are. So yet another opportunity to learn about items, because I know there's tons of video games out there, and I see them at Goodwill, but it's just, I don't know anything about them. So that's on my list to learn at some point, because look how profitable they are. Shannon Matson. I have had this sitting in my death pile for over a year. I found it on the curb. Was intimidated by its size and weight. It weighs 50 pounds. Finally spent 2 hours pre-packing it yesterday and listed it yesterday afternoon. Sold this morning for full price. This is a Sharp vintage stereo receiver audio system. So it was free and sold for just under $200 in less than 24 hours. Good for you, Shannon. Oh, look, Andrew's back with more. Picked up for only $2 at a yard sale, sold the same day for $230. Here we have yet another vintage. This is a VHS DVD recorder, Panasonic brand, but vintage electronic. $2, sold for $230. And then Andrew has another one. This is a fun one. I might have had to keep this. I always just wanted to play with cash registers when I was a little kid, and I never had one. They're just fun. Picked up for $25. I wonder if he's $25. Must be. At a yard sale, sold for $140 the same day. Sold to a drop shipper, so probably underpriced, still happy. This is a Sharp electronic cash register with keys. Now we have Anne Rice. I paid up for this St. John two-piece dress suit at $40 from an estate sale. Had it listed pretty high at $325, but took a best offer of $200. Took 17 months to sell, but worth the wait. So this is a St. John two-piece sleeveless dress with jacket. And Sheila Bennett says, my goal is to one day find St. John. And Anne says, I don't find it often in thrift stores, but I do find it at estate sales. Unfortunately, they know what it's worth. I go on the last day, usually to see if any is still there. So that's a great strategy, because you don't know who's been there before you and what they want. And on the last day, everything's cheaper. So again, this is St. John, $40, sold for $200. Okay, Andrew has another one. Picked this up for $40 at a yard sale. Sold for best offer of $200 in about 3 weeks. Another Harley item. Vintage Harley Davidson leather jacket, men's 2 extra large. Screaming Eagle distressed. $40, sold for $200. Andrew's having an outstanding week, or I guess I should say month, of July with all these high dollar sales. Now we have Margie DeMolina, paid $8 at Goodwill for this DVD collection and sold for full price of $110 in 2 weeks. If new, comps are around $200. This is Shelley Duvall's Fairy Tale Theater, the complete series DVD from 2008. She paid $8. It sold for $110. And Wendy Hodge says, I've sold this one before for $85. Great find. So take a look at the photo. You've got the castle and looks like dragonflies, fairies. Look for that one. I do always check the DVD sets. Those seem to sell very well. I found that 70s show DVDs, but the set was not complete. So I'm hoping I'll come across the one that's missing, the season that's missing, to have that complete set. Okay, Eileen Cole is back. I paid $20 for this children's book set at a charity used book sale. Listed for $119 and took a best offer of $105 plus shipping. Sold in 1 week. Lot of 24 Alice in Bible Land books. $24, sold for $105. Eileen has another one. Bought these antique bookends at a thrift store for $5. Played with the pricing quite a bit. I took a best offer of $200 plus shipping. They took about a year to sell. Antique cast iron, bronze, clad Girl Scout, 2 bookends, 1920s. How about that? What a cool item. Okay, let's see who is next. Oh, it's Eileen again. Bought 26 volumes of Bible commentaries for $52. I divided them into 2 lots, Old and New Testament, and had them listed for $139 and $119. A buyer made an offer of $200 for both lots with free shipping. I countered at $215 plus shipping. He agreed, and I created a special listing for him. Took 1 month to sell. So $52 and sold for $200. Okay, now we've got Lisa. Bought for $10 on Friday at a yard sale. Sold within hours for $175. I was back and forth about cleaning it up. I'm glad I did. Vintage 16-inch pinup master portable heat advertising thermometer. $10, sold for $174.95. Next up is Raja. I hope I said that right. She said, "So happy I get to finally participate in this. I'm always hesitant about posting because everyone mispronounces my name. Pronounced Raja, or I could just call you Miss Taylor. Tell me how to say it correctly." She says, "I bought this plush doll at the antique mall where I have a booth for $11. Meaning she bought it for $11. Her booth is not $11. Sold in about 9 months. Priced him this high due to no other comps anywhere for this doll. Thank you, Suzanne, for the content. I listen to your podcasts as well and will get your BOLO book soon." So this is the Muppets Swedish Chef Stuffed Plush. New with tag, $129.99. And she said, "There's further proof. Pictures don't always matter. I took this on my bed. I was in a hurry to list it at the time." And I did look this up online, and I think it's sold at Walmart, among other places. So that just goes to show you it's all about supply and demand. An item is worth what someone will pay for it. So it may have a Walmart $5 tag on it, but if there's none available and somebody really wants it, they will pay up. Okay, moving on, we've got Casey with another one. $3 at the thrift store, sold for $116.95 in 3 weeks. Betty Davis Collection DVD box set. $3, sold for $116.95. Graham Murray paid $4 at a thrift store, sold in a few hours for full price. Brother P-Touch Label Maker Thermal Printer. $109.99. He paid $4. Okay, Graham's got another one here. Paid $30, sold in a few months, even though ski season was over, to offer of $155, only going about 10 miles from me. 2018 Misconduct Women's Skis. Paid $30, sold for $155 in July. Okay, Janae Brookens. These are discontinued. I paid $34 for 4 bottles. Purchased them at a discount grocery store. Sold in a week. 2 Bulldog Land Sport Gel Sunscreen. Expires 11/20/21. So $34 for 4 bottles, and she sold 2 of them. So that'd be $17 investment for $150 for some discontinued sunscreen. Okay, moving on to Kathleen Gifford. This is my second time selling one of these gems. I found this at the Goodwill bins in March and paid about $2. I had several offers but was holding out for $200. It ended up selling at full price in 4 months. This is definitely a BOLO, even without the mouse. 1987 Avon Vintage Mouse Advent Calendar. $2, sold for $200. I remember these calendars. So that's a vintage Avon item that's worth looking for. Okay, Andrew McGee. Picked this up in a bulk game deal. I probably have $6 or $7 into it. Sold for full price on the same day. Case artwork had a little damage and it was missing the manual, or I could have gotten 150. This is a Pokemon Coliseum Nintendo game. And he said $6 or $7 was his cost, sold for $115. Wendy Hodge paid $12 at a local thrift store. This is a men's NBA Dallas Mavericks jacket, satin, sold for $124.99, only cost her $12. We've got Wendy Hodge with another item, paid $2.02 at Value Village, and this was an international sale. I don't even want to try to pronounce that one, but it's a 20 DVD box set, Religion, Hinduism, sold for $189.95. And if you notice, the longer we get into the video, the less likely I am to try to pronounce something because it's just not going to come out right. Okay, Wendy Hodge has another one, $0. Free to me at an estate sale. Vintage Estee Lauder Azure Pure Fragrance Spray. So it's a fragrance, 70% full. It sold for $130. A couple of notes on fragrances. Yes, you can sell them partially used. Put them in the collectibles category. If you try to put them in health and beauty, your only choices are new with box or new without box. Also, fragrances must be shipped parcel select. They cannot go air because they are hazmat. Next up is Heidi Dozier, her first $100 post. So congratulations, Heidi, and welcome to the $100 Club. Found these Danner Acadia boots at a yard sale. Paid $2 for them. I recently became aware that this brand is a BOLO and was so happy to grab these. I knew they would sell. They took about a month. So there you can see some Danner black leather Gore-Tex boots. $2, sold for $100. Bought this 28-inch bass drum from an auction along with 8 others. Yes, I lost my mind. Took an adventure drive to Florida to pick them all up. With gas, food, hotel expenses, I had $80 a piece in them. Sold for $350 plus $192 shipping in about 3 months. Sold its 16-inch brother for $495, including shipping, to the same customer on eBay. A lot of work, but wife and I had a great adventure and made decent profit. I'll say so. That was a great sale. Okay, Mia. Her first time making it on the thread. So another congratulations to a newcomer and welcome to the $100 Club, Mia. My husband's aunt is downsizing and she gave us her lifetime collection of books, 50 boxes. This is the most profitable one to sell so far. Second photo shows the hardcovers. I will be listing book sets for quite a while. This is Michael Connelly book lot 29 books, complete Harry Bosch series. So free to her, and this sold for $145. Who says people don't read books anymore? I prefer an actual physical book over electronic reading. I just like it. I just like holding the book and turning the pages, and it's just a different experience. Okay, Tammy Mitchell purchased a bundle of American Girls, meaning American Girl dolls, at the end of December last year. I had about $2 in this item. Took 6 months to sell. Took best offer of $125 plus shipping. So this is a necklace for a doll. American Girl doll Samantha, retired and rare keepsake locket for girls. $2, sold for $125. And now we've got Carol Kirk. I sold these duck feet boots for a best offer of $140 plus shipping. I bought them at Goodwill for $28 and they took about 2 weeks to sell. These are duck feet, Our House, leather boots, unisex, lined. Very nice. Kind of like Uggs, but not that same brand. And the last item in this edition of SuperSize Sales is from Lynn Merritt. Took a best offer on this beautiful vintage MCM, which stands for Mid-Century Modern, cape. Bought it 3 months ago at an antique store in Vermont. It was priced at $120 with 10% off booth sale. My price was $108. After a number of different ways of listing, auction, buy it now, different price points, I upped the price high to $495, promoted it, and took an offer of $350. So I figured the net return on investment is probably at $160. And look at that gorgeous cape. Vintage red and animal print MCM cape, 1960s, theater costume. That is gorgeous. Congratulations. And we've made it to the end of another video. Thank you so much to everyone who participates in both the Money Making Mondays and the $100 sales thread. Both are growing bigger and longer every month, so it's a great way to learn about what's working for other sellers that you can try for yourself. As always, thank you for watching, and I would love your comments below, and I will see you in the next video. Have a great day on eBay. Bye.